I welcome you to this session on artificial intelligence. In this video, I will cover the introduction of artificial intelligence. First question is, what is artificial intelligence? Let me explain what exactly artificial intelligence is. The term artificial intelligence is defined as a technique of getting machines to work and behave like humans. In other words, artificial intelligence is the development of computer system and softwares to perform tasks that requires human minds or intelligence. Human intelligence like virtual perceptions, decision making, sensations, translation of languages, etc. Basically, artificial intelligence is the creation of machines and robots that have been used to wide range of fields such as robotic, healthcare, and marketing businesses. Now let me explain you the history of the artificial intelligence. The history of artificial intelligence is quite interesting. In 1956 was the most important year in the invention of artificial intelligence because in 1956 for the first time the term artificial intelligence was introduced by the John McCarthy. He defined artificial intelligence is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. Then 1956 after 1956, in 1959, first artificial intelligence laboratory was established. In 1960, the first robot was introduced. In 1961, the first chat box was invented named as Alisa. Nowadays we have many chat boxes like Siri from Apple, Alexa, Google Assistants, etc. In 2005, first robot car was invented named Stanley. In 2011, IBM question answering system Watson was introduced. And now the most important technology in this world is artificial intelligence. This is because all the multinational companies and the big tech giants start investing in artificial intelligence companies. This is because they believe that artificial intelligence is the future of, and the most important companies and the big companies such as Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, etc. The importance and the demand of artificial intelligence. So the question is, why artificial intelligence is so important? Artificial intelligence was first introduced in 1956 and now it suddenly gained so much of importance. Why? The reason behind this question is that the various universities, governments, and another tech giants are all start investing in artificial intelligence. Companies like Facebook, Microsoft, Tesla, Google, and various shopping devices believes that artificial intelligence is the future of modern world. So that's why artificial intelligence gain so much of importance nowadays. Another question is that how artificial intelligence works for all these big companies. Artificial intelligence helps in various fields like social media, shopping devices, Netflix, etc. The things we love are automatically appears in front of us so that we can spend more and more time on them. This all done because of artificial intelligence. We produce immeasurable amount of data and information nowadays. They helpful to implement artificial intelligence in our daily life. Another reason is artificial intelligence requires a lot of human thinking and conceptual thinking's power, and now we have that level of thinking powers. Second thing is algorithm and languages. The Now we have a better and effective algorithms and various languages such as Python, Java, C++, etc. These all reasons behind the importance of artificial intelligence. The applications based on artificial intelligence. One of the most famous application of artificial intelligence is social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc. We are actually unaware that we are using artificial intelligence very regularly in our daily life. All these social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter are completely based on artificial intelligence. All the auto tagging features and facial features that you see in Facebook, there is only artificial intelligence behind it. Another famous applications of artificial intelligence is self-driving car made by Tesla. That car can automatically detect any object or any obstacle without human intelligence. It is implemented through machine learning and artificial intelligence by Tesla. Another most famous applications is known as Netflix. Netflix has developed a personalized movie recommendation for each of its users. The things we love are automatically appear in front of us so that we can spend more and more time on them. This all done because of artificial intelligence. Google Predict search engine is also one of the most famous application of artificial intelligence because when we start typing or search terms, Google makes recommendation for us. It is not simple to create a search engine, but the logic behind Google search engine is artificial intelligence. Now we have almost Siri virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa. Let me tell you another most important newly released virtual assistants called Google Duplex. Google Duplex respond to call automatically. Different types of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is divided into three different types or stages. First, we have artificial narrow intelligence. It is also known as weak intelligence. Second, we have general intelligence, and third, we have super intelligence. So, first question is, what is artificial narrow intelligence? Narrow intelligence is also known as weak intelligence. We are generally use the artificial narrow intelligence in our daily life. For example, we are using Google search engine, Siri and Alexa. These are all based on artificial narrow intelligence. It only apply on the specific task. So many currently existing systems that claims to use the artificial intelligence are actually operating as weak artificial intelligence, such as Siri, Google search engines, Alexa. Self-driving car by the Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft is a very good example of narrow or weak intelligence. This is because of the narrow artificial intelligence. It operates within limited predefined range of functions. There is no genuine intelligence or no computational power. It is and it is a sophisticated example of weak artificial intelligence. Right now we are reaching at the stage of the artificial narrow intelligence, and we actually haven't reached on artificial general intelligence or artificial super intelligence. Let's look at what exactly it would be like and if we reach on artificial general intelligence. So second question is, what is artificial general intelligence? It is involves the machines that possess the ability to perform or to perform the intelligent task that a human can do easily. If the machines capable of doing the simple and the most reasonable things that human like, for example thinking, and some work which is only done by the human beings, if the machine can easily do these kind of things, then it actually comes on the artificial general intelligence. So the first was the artificial narrow intelligence and the second is artificial general intelligence. The example of artificial general intelligence is when a machine can check out the millions of documents in 10 seconds, but a human, it is very difficult to check out the millions of documents in 10 seconds. So it is a very good example of artificial general intelligence. The third most important type of artificial intelligence is artificial super intelligence. It Let's move to our third type of artificial intelligence, which is strong intelligence. It is a very strong intelligence, and this involves the machines are able to perform all the tasks that humans cannot do. For example, the limited time of actually the human cannot perform many task in a very short time or with perfection, but if a machine can do a work which is completely on time and with perfection, this is the more advanced artificial intelligence, and it is not implemented yet. Programming language used for the artificial intelligence. There are many programming languages which are used for the artificial intelligence, like Python, Java, Lisp, Prolog, C++, JavaScript, R, programming language, etc. So first we have Python. Python is one of the most famous language for artificial intelligence, and it is the most effective language for artificial intelligence. Most of the developer prefer Python because syntax of the Python is very simple and it is one of the easiest language to learn. Python has predefined functions and libraries which are used to implement artificial intelligence. So Python is considered as the best choice for the implementation of artificial intelligence. But the second most important language for used in artificial intelligence is R programming language. R is one of the most effective language for the manipulation of data. It is a statistical programming language. R is one of the most easiest language in world. Its syntax is very simple and similar to English language. It has a number of libraries. Now third most important language which are used to implement the artificial intelligence is Java. Java is considered as the good choice for the artificial intelligence. Java provides many features like debugging is very fast and easy. It is easy to use and manage. Many benefits like packages, applets, etc. It has good user attraction, and Java is considered as the good choice for the implementation of artificial intelligence. Other languages which are used for the implementation of artificial intelligence are Lisp, Prolog, C++, JavaScript. These languages can be used to develop the artificial intelligence. Relationship between artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning. In our previous lecture, we discussed about what is artificial intelligence, importance of AI, various applications and programming language used for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a vast field. Under artificial intelligence, we have machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence and deep learning is a subset of machine learning as shown on the screen. So artificial intelligence is the sum of machine learning and deep learning. Artificial intelligence is a way of getting machines to behave like human beings, whereas machine learning is a method through which we can feed a lot of data to the machine and make it learn. Machine learning is one of the most important aspects of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is not similar with each other, but importance of machine learning in artificial intelligence is machine learning is used in artificial intelligence. Now the last question is, what is deep learning? Deep learning is a method through which we can solve the complex problem in an easy way. The importance of machine learning. Machine learning is one of the most important aspect of artificial intelligence and it is a subfield of artificial intelligence. Importance of machine learning in artificial intelligence is machine learning is used in artificial intelligence. Now second question arises, what is machine learning? Machine learning can be defined as it is a method through which you can feed a lot of data to machines and make it learn. In simple words, we can say that machine learning is a technique in which we feed a lot of data to machines and make it learn and complete their task by its own. Machine learning focuses on getting machines to make decisions by feeding them data. We are actually unaware that we are using machine learning in our day-to-day life. Some of the real-life examples of machine learning is social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc. These applications completely based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. In these kind of platforms, machine learning can be used as all the auto tagging features and facial features you see in Facebook and Instagram, there is only machine learning behind it. Another most famous machine learning example of machine learning is self-driving car made by Tesla. These cars can automatically detect any obstacle or objects without human intelligence. Another real-life example of machine learning is Netflix. Netflix developed a personalized movie recommendation for its users. The things we love are automatically appears in front of us. These all done by the machine learning. Google Predict search engine is also a very good example of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Machine learning plays an important role in our day-to-day life. Machine learning is classified into three major types. The first type of machine learning is supervised learning. Second type of machine learning is unsupervised learning. And the third most important type of machine learning is reinforcement learning. Different types of machine learning. This is one of the most important concept in machine learning. There are three different types of machine learning. First one is supervised learning, second is unsupervised learning, and the last one is reinforcement learning. So we will go one by one. First one is supervised learning. Supervised learning is a technique in which we teach or train the machines by using data. which is well labeled. Let us consider an example. We all need guidance to learn how to drive a car. So our teacher who teach or train us always give guidance about brake, race and steering systems. Similarly, you can think of supervised learning. It requires guidance. The label data set is teacher that will help or train you to understand the patterns in the data. The main thing about supervised learning is labeled data or guidance. Basically, we are providing data to the machines by using labeled data. Provided information to the machine and then machine will react on the basis of that information. This is exactly known as supervised learning. One more important thing to note that here is that the output that you get by using the supervised learning is also labeled output. Now let us move on our second type of machine learning, that is unsupervised learning. So now question arises, what is unsupervised learning? This is a technique or a method in which training of machines by using unlabeled data and machine acts on unlabeled data or information without any guidance. As the name indicates, unsupervised learning means training of machines without supervision. In simple word, we can say that you do not need to provide any information to the machines. Machine will react on its basis of intelligence. This is known as unsupervised learning. Let us understand with an example. A machine identifies fruits on the basis of color, shape, size, and weight. For example, apple can be recognized as it is a red in color and small in size and round in shape. Remember one thing, the during this process machine identify the features of the fruit without any label data, and then machine will recognize apple fruit automatically. So the important thing here is that you need to know in unsupervised learning is that you are gonna feed the machines unlabeled data. Now let's move and discuss our last type of machine learning, that is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is different as compared to supervised and unsupervised learning. Reinforcement learning is defined as an agent is put in an environment and he learns to behave in the environment by doing some actions and observing the rewards which is get from these actions. In simple words, we can say that when we go on random place, after some times we learn how to live on that place. We explore the environment and understand the things like food, climate, etc. This is exactly reinforcement learning is. Reinforcement learning is used in advanced machine learning areas such as self-driving car by the Tesla. In this type of machine learning, an agent has to explore by itself without any training. Different types of machine learning algorithm. Basically, machine learning algorithm is classified into three different types. One is supervised learning algorithm, unsupervised learning algorithm, and reinforcement learning algorithm. Let me discuss about supervised learning algorithm. There are 7 different types of supervised learning algorithm. First one is linear regression, second one is logistic regression, third is decision tree, fourth is random forest, fifth is naive Bayes classifier, sixth is support vector machine, and seventh is k nearest neighbor. We are going to discuss all these 7 algorithm one by one. Let me discuss our first algorithm, that is linear regression algorithm. Linear regression algorithm is a supervised learning algorithm. This algorithm is used to predict the possible outcomes of the given input. This algorithm draws a relationship between input variable and output variable. Dependent variable is denoted as y and the independent variable is denoted as x. As shown on the screen, generally input variable is known as independent variable and independent variable and output variable is known as dependent variable. The important thing here is to note that the dependent variable y is always going to be continuous variable and independent variable x can neither be continuous or discrete variable. Let us take an example to understand this linear regression. Let's assume that you want to predict the price of the gold over a period of time. Here we use the linear regression. Dependent variable is the gold price which we want to predict, and the period of time is independent variable. Independent variable is our input and dependent variable is our output, that is the gold price. So the formula used in linear regression is as shown on the screen. Y is defined as the dependent variable, beta naught is the y-intercept, and beta 1 is equal to slope, whereas x is defined as the independent variable and e is the error. The logistic regression. In our previous lectures, we discussed about the linear regression. The main difference between the linear regression and the logistic regression is linear regression is used to predict a continuous quantity, but logistic regression is a machine learning algorithm which is used to predict the categorical value. Here, categorical value means the output of the logistic regression can be yes or no, 0 and 1. Now the question arises, how we can use the logistic regressions. Let's understand this concept with an example. Let us consider a small scenario. You want to predict the climatic conditions, like whether tomorrow will be rainy day or not. To predict this, the climatic conditions, here we can use the logistic regression. So based on the past data, you can use logistic regression to foresee the outcomes. Logistic regressions will allow you to analyze the set of variables to predict the categorical outcomes. So output of the logistic regression will be in terms of yes or no. Logistic regression is a method which is used to predict a dependent variable of y given an independent variable of x such that dependent variable is a categorical value, which means it can hold the values like yes or no, 0 and 1, true or false. Now I will explain more about this in a depth in a while. In order to understand how logistic regression works, first look at the linear regression equation. This was the linear regression equations that we discussed in our previous lecture as shown on the screen. Here y stands for the dependent variable that we need to be predict. B0 is a y-intercept, B1 is a slope, and x here represents the independent variable that is used to predict y. E denotes as the error. Logistic regression is derived from the linear regression. Now, so the formula used in the logistic regression is shown on the screen. According to this formula, independent variable is x, y is dependent variable which is a categorical variable, and here we need to predict an dependent variable that is y given an independent variable of x. Third type of supervised learning algorithm, that is decision tree. Decision tree is one of the most simple algorithm. In our previous lectures, we discussed about linear regression, which is a regression algorithm, and logistic regression, which is a classification algorithm. Now we are going to discuss about our third type of supervised learning algorithm, that is decision tree, which is again a classification algorithm. Our first question is what exactly a decision tree is. Let me explain this concept in easy and effective manner. Decision tree is a supervised learning algorithm which look like an inverted tree. In this tree, root nodes, leaf nodes are used to take decisions. In decision tree, each node represents a predictor variable and link between the nodes represents a decision, and each leaf nodes represents an outcomes as shown on the screen. Let me explain this concept with an example. Let's say you hosted a huge party and you wanted to know how many of your guests are non-vegetarian. To solve these problems, you can create a decision tree. According to this decision tree, eat chicken is a starting or root node, and eat mutton, eat fish is another node known as internal nodes, and the last node is non-vegetarian and vegetarian, that is the leaf node. So as we traverse down the decision tree, we find out our answer automatically. This is known as decision tree. Let me show you the working of the decision tree. As we pass down the decision tree, our first variable is eat chicken. If guest eat chicken, then guest is a non-vegetarian, and if not, our next variable is eat mutton. If guest eat mutton, then guest is a non-vegetarian. Otherwise, our next variable is eat fish. If guest eat fish, then guest is a non-vegetarian. If no, the guest is a vegetarian. This is how a decision tree works. It's simple and effective algorithm in machine learning. Another question is, what is the structure of decision tree? Let me explain you the structure of decision tree. The root node is the starting point of the decision tree. Root node is assigned to a variable that is very significant, meaning that variable is very important in predicting the output. After that, we have something known as internal nodes. So each internal nodes represents a decision point that eventually leads to the output. Last node is known as leaf node. It is also known as terminal nodes. Branches are nothing but the connection between the nodes. These connections are link between each nodes is known as a branch. So this is a structure of decision tree. It's pretty understandable. Now let's move on and we will understand how the decision tree algorithm works. There are many ways to build a decision tree, but most common and I will be focusing on ID3 algorithm. That is one of the way in which you can build the decision tree. ID3 stands for iterative dichotomizer 3 algorithm, which is one of the most effective algorithms used to build a decision tree. Now the ID3 algorithm has around 6 defined steps in order to build a decision tree. So the first step is you will select the best predictor variable, let's call it A. After that you will assign this A as a decision variable for the root nodes. Then for each for assigning as a decision variable for the root node, for each value of a, build a descendant of the node. Assign classification label as the leaf node, and if data is correctly, then stop, else iterate over the fourth type of machine learning algorithm, that is random forest. Basically forests are made up of trees. This random forest is also based on the concept. In our previous lecture we discussed about decision tree. Here in this lecture we are going to discuss about random forest. So very first question arises, why do we learn random forest when we already have decision tree? The reason behind this question is there are three main reasons. First reason is accuracy, second reason is avoid overfitting, and third and last reason is bagging. So more accuracy means decision trees are not as accurate as random forest. Decision tree works more efficiently with data, but they are not as accurate as random forest. Avoid overfitting means overfitting is a problem generally seen in decision tree. It commonly occurs when we use decision tree. Overfitting occurs in decision tree when your model learns disturbance during training of data. Bagging. The basic idea behind the bagging is to reduce the prediction by combining the result of multiple decision tree. Our second question is, what is random forest? Now let me discuss about random forest. Random forest is a supervised learning algorithm. It is used to build multiple decision trees and join them together to get more accurate and stable prediction. In order to understand random forest, we look at the small example. We have four predictor variables: blood flow, blocked arteries, chest pain, and weight. These variables are used to predict whether or not a person has a heart disease or not. So we are going to create data. We are going to create a random forest using this data as shown on the screen. So this is our data and we have to predict that a patient has a heart disease or not by using random forest. So our first step is to create a bootstrap dataset. Bootstrap dataset is defined as the randomly selected observations from the data. Next step is you are going to create a decision tree. Third step is you go back to the first step 1, create a bootstrap data. Again create a decision tree. These predictions is performed hundreds and times until you have multiple decision trees, that is known as random forest. Now that you have created a random forest, you will use this random forest to predict the outcomes. Our fifth type of supervised learning algorithm is the Naive Bayes algorithm. Naive Bayes is a supervised classification algorithm. Naive Bayes algorithm used to find a probability. The main concept of the Naive Bayes is that the predictor variables are independent of each other, meaning that the output depends on the independent variable that have nothing to do with each other. Let me discuss the logical equation behind the naive Bayes algorithm. So, like I mentioned, the principle behind the naive Bayes is the Bayes theorems, which is also known as Bayes rules. The Bayes theorem is used to calculate the conditional probability, which is nothing but the probability of an event occurring based on the information about the events in the past. This is a mathematical equation for the Bayes theorem. As shown on the screen, in left hand side is the probability of event A occurring given then event B. P of A is the probability of event A occurring. P of B is probability of event B, and PB of A is nothing but the conditional probability of event B occurring given the event A. About sixth type of supervised learning algorithm, that is k nearest neighbor. In our previous lectures we discussed about random forest and naive Bayes. Our very first question is, what do you mean by k in k nearest neighbor? K stands for the number of nearest neighbors. Short form for k nearest neighbor is KNN, and it is a supervised classification algorithm that is used to classify data into the output class depending on the features of its neighboring data. That's why it is known as k nearest neighbor. Now let's try to understand k nearest neighbor with a small example. Let's say we want to predict or distinguish cats and dogs by using machine learning algorithm. To distinguish cats and dogs, we must input our data of cats and dogs image, and we have to train our machines to detect the animal based on certain features. For example, features such as pointy ears, color of eyes, senses of nose, etc. can be used to identify cats. Similarly, we can identify dogs based on their certain features such as long ears, colors of eyes, senses of nose, etc. So after studying the data during the training period, when a new image is given to the machines, the KNN algorithm will classify it into either cat or dog, depending on the similarities in their features. Let's say that a new image has pointy ears, it will classify that image as cat because it is similar to the cat image. In this manner, the KNN algorithm classifies the data based on how similar they are to their neighboring data. So this is a small example of k nearest neighbor. Now let we talk about the features of k nearest neighboring algorithm. So first of all, we know that it is a supervised classification algorithm, and it is a lab and it uses the labeled input to predict the output of the data. It is also one of the most simplest machine learning algorithm, and it can be easily implemented for a set of problems. Another feature is that it is a non-parametric, meaning that it does not take in any assumptions. Another feature is that it is a lazy algorithm. Lazy algorithm here means an algorithm that memorize the training set instead of learning or discrimination functions from the training data. Our last type of supervised learning algorithm, that is SVM. Now very first question arises, what is SVM? SVM stands for the spot vector machine. It is one of the most simple algorithm in classification algorithm. It is used to classify data. Spot vector machine uses hyperplanes which acts like a boundaries to distinguish between the data as shown on the screen. Now SVM can be used to separate the data, which is divided into segments, and each segment contains only one kind of data. So a few features of SVM includes that it is a supervised learning algorithm, meaning that it's going to study a labeled training data. Another feature is that it is again a regression and a classification algorithm. SVM is used for the classification. There is something known as spot vector regressor, which is used for the regression. Now SVM can also be used to classify non-linear data and a linear data. Basically, SVM classifies the data in two or more than two types with a line that is known as hyperplane. This is known as SVM. Now let we discuss about how SVM works. In order to understand how SVM or spot vector machine works, let we consider a small example. Imagine that you own a farm and you have a problem. You need to set up a fence to protect your cats from dogs. Now you need to decide where you want to build your fence. To solve these problems, we can use spot vector machine. So if I do that, and if I try to draw a boundaries between the cats and the cats, it look like as shown on the screen. Sport vector machines draws a boundaries which is also called hyperplane between any two classes in order to separate them or classify them. Now question arises, how do we know where to draw a hyperplane? The basic principle behind the SVM is to draw a hyperplane that best separates the two classes. In our case, the two classes are cats and dog. Now before we move further, let we discuss different terminology that are there in sport vector machine. First one is hyperplane. It is a boundary that separates the two classes. And second one is what are sport vectors? So when you start with the sport vectors machines, you start by drawing a random hyperplanes and then you check the distance between the hyperplanes and the closest path from each of the class. These closest path are also known as sport vectors. Now as shown on the screen, these two data points are closest to hyperplane. So these are known as the sport vectors, and that's where the name came from, the sport vector machine. Our second type of machine learning algorithm. In our previous lectures we discussed about supervised machine learning and its various types. In this lecture we discuss about unsupervised machine learning. Our first question is, what do you understand by unsupervised machine learning algorithm? Unsupervised machine learning algorithm is a technique or a method in which training of machines using an labeled data or information without any guidance. As the name indicates, unsupervised machine learning means training of machines without supervision. In simple word, we can say that you do not need to provide information to machines. Machine will react on the basis of its own intelligence. This is known as unsupervised machine learning algorithm. Unsupervised machine learning algorithm, we solve clustering problem, and the most important clustering problem is K means clustering. Clustering here stands for groups. Now the main aim of the k-means clustering problem is to group similar elements or data into a cluster. This means, let's say you are trying to cluster the population into four different groups such that each group has a people with a specific range of age. For example, group 1 has people between the age 18 and 22. Similarly, group 2 has people between the age 23 and 35, and so on. On let's say you are trying to cluster people into different groups based on their age. So for such problems you can make use of k-means clustering algorithm. The clustering algorithm is used in many e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, etc. The products we automatically appears in front of us and marketing a specific product to a specific audience. This can only be implemented by k-means clustering algorithm. Our next question is, how k-means clustering algorithms work? First of all, k in k-means clustering algorithm is the number of clusters. For example, let's say I give you a data containing 40 peoples and you want to cluster their peoples into four clusters. That means your k will be equal to 4. Now let's discuss how k-means clustering algorithm works. Step 1. This clustering problem follows some steps. There are four different steps on the basis of their algorithm. Step 1. Pick up the number of clusters. Then pick a centroid. Calculate the distance from object to centroid. Group the data based on their minimum distance, and that's how k-means algorithm work as shown on the screen. Third type of machine learning. In our previous lectures we discussed about supervised and unsupervised learning algorithm. Now we are going to discuss about reinforcement learning algorithm. This algorithm is different from our previous algorithm. It can be defined as an agent is put in an unknown environment and agent learn to behave in this environment by doing some actions and observing the rewards which is get from those actions. Real life example of reinforcement learning is when we go on some random place. After some time we learn how to live on that place. We explore the environment and understand the things like food, climate, etc. In this example, we are the agents and we are doing some actions to live on the place. This is exactly known as reinforcement learning is. It is used in advanced machine learning And in this type of machine learning, an agent has to explore by itself without any training. This learning is used in applications such as self-driving cars. Now let's talk about some terminologies and some definitions of reinforcement learning. So first we have something known as agent. An agent is the reinforcement learning algorithm that learns from trials and errors. An agent is the one that take actions. Environment. An environment is basically the world through which the agent moves. Actions. All the possible steps that an agent can take is considered an action. State. Current condition reward by the environment is known as state. Reward. Reward is an instant return from the environment. The aim of the reinforcement learning is about the maximization that an agent can get. Now, one of the most important concept in reinforcement learning is exploration and exploitation trade-off. Now, exploration, like the one name suggests, it is about the exploring and capturing more information about the environment. On the other hand, exploitation's trade-off is defined as using the already known exploited information to heighten your reward. There are two different types of reinforcement learning. First one is Markov's decision process algorithm and second is Q-learning algorithm. Our very first question arises, what is deep learning? One line answer for this question is it learns from the experience. Now, our next question is why we use deep learning. Whenever there is a high dimensionality data or whenever the data is really large, it has a lot of features and a lot of predictor variables, we use deep learning. Our next question is what is the difference between deep learning and machine learning? This concept can easily understand by a small example. Suppose we want to make a systems that can recognize the faces of different peoples in an image. Basically, we are creating a system that can identify the faces of different people in an image. If we solve this problem by using the different machine learning algorithm, we will have to define facial features like eyes, nose, ears, etc. And then the systems will identify which features are more important for which person. Now, if you are considered deep learning, for the same example, deep learning will automatically find out the features which are important for classification because it uses the concept of neural networks. Whereas in machine learning, we have to find out each and every facial features on its own. That's the main difference between the machine learning and deep learning. Now let me understand what exactly a deep learning is. Now deep learning is a collection of machine learning techniques. The main idea behind deep learning is neural networks and neural network works exactly like how the brain works. Deep learning studies the basic unit of brain called the brain cells or neurons. So basically deep learning is inspired from our brain structures. In our brains we have neurons and these neurons are replicated in deep learning as artificial neurons which are also called perceptrons. So if you want to stay connected and stay update about the recent